Jacksonville Jaguars won 13 games last season in open training camp, with their starting left tackle on the physically unable to perform list. Cole Van Lanen hurt his knee in the Week 18 win over Tennessee, missed the wildcard game against Buffalo, and has not taken a full practice since. Walker Little takes the first team reps at left tackle instead. Jacksonville went 13-4, won the AFC South, and finished fourth in the NFL in point differential at plus 138. The betting market answered by setting this team's win total between 8.5 and 9.5. Liam Cohen became the first head coach in NFL history to win 13 or more games in his first season, with the team coming off 13 or more losses. Trevor Lawrence threw for 4,007 yards with 29 touchdown passes, ran in 9 more, and finished as an MVP finalist. The offense set franchise records with 474 points, 55 touchdowns, and 356 first downs. General Manager James Gladstone then extended Trayvon Walker, Brenton Strange, and Jacoby Myers, spent 10 picks in April, and collected some of the harshest national draft grades in the league. There is a reason for those grades. The defense finished 8th in points, allowed and first in the NFL against the run at 85.6 rushing yards per game. It also finished 27th in sacks. Those two numbers rarely share a roster, and the player counted on to close that gap is not a pass rusher. He is a second-year player who has never started a full NFL season at his listed position. Houston still opens as the division favorite. So here's the honest version of the Jaguars entering camp: what they lost, what the draft was about, the 4 jobs still open, and whether 13 wins was real. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Jaguars and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 500 likes on this video. The record was earned, but the engine underneath it was turnovers. Jacksonville finished second in the NFL with 31 takeaways and set franchise records with 22 interceptions, 107 passes defensed, and a plus 13 turnover margin. The year before, this same franchise produced 9 takeaways, the fewest in football, while allowing 389.9 yards per game. Anthony Campanile's group became the first defense in NFL history to reach 30 takeaways after finishing with 10 or fewer the season prior. No unit in the league leaned harder on the football, and no unit in the league is more exposed if the ball stops bouncing its way. Now run the subtraction. Devin Lloyd alone accounted for 5 of those 22 interceptions, and Lloyd signed with Carolina in March. Remove his production, and the Jaguars fall to 17 picks, which is ordinary. Takeaways are also the least stable statistic in football, and Jacksonville generated them while ranking 27th in sacks and 18th in pressure rate. A defense forcing turnovers without pressuring the quarterback is borrowing against next season. Pro Football Focus and nearly every projection model flagged the same gap. I want to be fair to Campanile here, because the run defense was not luck. Allowing 85.6 rushing yards per game led the NFL after a 25th place finish the year before. An elite run defense creates obvious passing downs, which creates interceptions. The full unit climbed from 31st in yards allowed to 11th, and Jacksonville was one of only 4 teams to rank top 10 in both points scored and allowed. Lloyd praised his coordinator directly last season, saying he came in passionate, held us to a standard. The scheme is real, the margin is thin, and the story of how this team got here explains why nobody saw it coming. Go back to January of 2025. The Jaguars had finished 4-13, ranked 31st in yards allowed, and cleared out their previous regime. Gladstone took over as general manager under Executive Vice President Tony Boselli. Cohen arrived from Tampa Bay on January 24th. Campanile came from Green Bay 6 days later, and Grant Udinski left Minnesota to run the offense in February. Then Jacksonville traded up to the 2nd overall pick and took Travis Hunter. The entire rebuild was executed in roughly 90 days. The season did not open clean. Trayvon Walker dislocated his left wrist in Week 4 against San Francisco and had surgery on September 29th. Hunter went down with a knee injury in an October 30th practice and never played again. Brian Thomas Jr. fought through ankle, shoulder, and concussion problems all year. Jacksonville sent a 4th and a 6th round pick to Las Vegas for Jacoby Myers on November 4th to patch a receiver room coming apart, then lost at Houston that same week to fall to 5-4. Everything changed after that loss. The Jaguars won 8 straight to close the regular season, and Lawrence was the reason. Over the final 6 games, he threw 15 touchdowns, ran in 4 more, gave the ball away exactly once, posted a 113.2 passer rating, and led the entire NFL at 10.5 yards per attempt on 3rd down. That came from a quarterback who managed 11 touchdown passes in an injury-wrecked 2024. Jacksonville buried Tennessee 41-7 in Week 18 to clinch the division, then lost 27-24 to Buffalo. Lawrence said afterward, "I do feel like it's sustainable." But now let's go ahead and talk about what walked out the door, because Jacksonville lost more than the headlines suggested. Travis Etienne, the 25th overall pick back in 2021, signed a 4-year deal with New Orleans after handling roughly 70% of the running back carries. He rushed for 1,107 yards and 7 touchdowns, caught 36 passes for 292 yards and 6 more scores, and finished with 13 total touchdowns. Replacing volume is simple. Replacing a back who scored in 2 phases is much harder, and the Jaguars did not sign anyone close to that profile. Devin Lloyd was the bigger loss. He earned second-team All-Pro honors, made the Pro Bowl, and returned an interception 99 yards for a touchdown in the primetime win over Kansas City. Carolina paid him 3 years and $45 million. Cornerback Greg Newsome II for the New York Giants on a 1-year deal. Safety Andrew Wingard signed in Arizona, and edge rusher Dawuane Smoot, who logged more than 400 snaps, is gone with no veteran replacement added behind Walker. Gladstone let all of it happen on purpose. Over the cap projects, Jacksonville to collect compensatory picks in the 2027 draft for Lloyd, Etienne, and Newsome, and the front office told reporters in March that retaining the first 2 was never realistic against the cap. I understand the logic, and the comp pick math is genuinely sound. I also think losing your best coverage linebacker, your only dual threat back, and your 3rd edge rusher in a single offseason is a real cost, and it puts enormous weight on whatever came in behind them. So what did come in? Chris Rodriguez Jr. signed a 2-year deal worth up to $12 million after career highs of 500 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns in Washington. He ranked 8th in the NFL at 3.46 yards after contact per carry, and he played for Cohen at Kentucky in 2021, where he earned first-team All-SEC honors and rushed for 100 yards in 9 straight games, a school record. He finished his college career with 3,644 yards, 3rd most in Kentucky history. That relationship is the whole signing. The only other outside addition was a swap. On April 17th, the Jaguars sent defensive tackle Mason Smith to Atlanta for Rook Orhorhoro, a former 35th overall pick who generated 30 pressures last season. Beyond that, the money went to players already in the building. Travon Walker got 4 years and $110 million with $77 million in guarantees. Brenton Strange signed a 3-year extension worth up to $48 million. Montaric Brown returned on a 3-year deal after leading the team with 12 passes defended, and Dennis Gardeck came back as well. Gladstone said of Walker, his best football is still ahead of him. 2 live storylines landed this week. Vita Vea requested a trade from Tampa Bay on Monday after extension talks stalled, and Jacksonville keeps getting floated as a suitor. I would pump the brakes hard there. Vea turns 31 this season, is owed roughly $18 million, and reportedly prefers the West Coast, while the Jaguars sit near the bottom of the league in available cap space. Adam Schefter also reported a Monday visit with receiver Zay Jones, who is coming off a season-ending injury in Arizona. Depth insurance, nothing more. Now here is the draft everybody graded in April. Jacksonville held 10 picks and no first rounder, because the 2025 trade-up for Travis Hunter cost them this year's opener. They spent the 56th selection on Texas A&M tight end Nate Boerkircher, a 24-year-old sixth-year senior with 38 catches across his entire college career. Bleacher Report had him ranked 185th on its board. Taking a blocking tight end that early, weeks before extending Strange, is the decision critics keep circling. The counter-argument is the rest of day 2. Oregon guard Emmanuel Pregnon went 88th, roughly 40 picks later than most boards projected, and he immediately pushes Ezra Cleveland at left guard. Texas A&M tackle Albert Regis went 81st at 6'1" and 293 pounds. Undersized for a nose, but he made a tackle on 23% of his run snaps, the 5th highest rate among Power Conference interior linemen. Maryland safety Jalen Husky went 100th with 11 college interceptions. 2 of those 3 are clear value. Day 3 was volume. Duke edge Wesley Williams, Houston tight end Tanner Koziel, receivers Josh Cameron and C.J. Williams, edge Zach Durfee, and linebacker Parker Hughes. The class averaged 46.4 college games played, and only Durfee appeared in fewer than 40. Boring is the word national analysts used. Boring is also how this front office found Paishul Tutin and Wyatt Millam a year ago. And this roster has 4 starting jobs sitting open right now, waiting on exactly that kind of player. Travis Hunter is the answer to the pass rush problem, which sounds strange until you watch the tape. As a rookie, he played 7 games, caught 28 passes for 298 yards, added 15 tackles and 3 pass breakups, and took 67% of his snaps on offense. That ratio flips in 2026. Jacksonville plans to use him as a full-time cornerback and a part-time receiver. Cameron Wolfe of NFL Network reported he is running over 20 miles per hour, faster than before the injury, and said he's ready to be unleashed. Coverage buys time, and time creates sacks. Jeff Howe of The Athletic wrote that the Jaguars need Hunter to be special on defense if they want to win a playoff game, and the secondary around him gets Jordan Lewis and Caleb Ransaw back from injuries. Up front, the competition is wide open. Walker Little holds left tackle until Van Lanen clears. Patrick McCarry defends right guard against Wyatt Millam after ranking 63rd of 83 qualified guards in run blocking and surrendering 34 pressures. Anton Harrison battles Chuma Edoga at right tackle. The defense has its own vacancy. Ventrell Miller takes over Lloyd's weak side spot after playing only 20% of the snaps last year, with Branson Combs and Hughes chasing him. Paishul Tutin inherits the backfield ahead of Rodriguez, and Cohen said on the Schrager Hour, "Tutin I thought had a really good spring." Brian Thomas Jr. carries the most pressure of anyone in the building. He fell from 1,282 yards as a rookie to 707, and his drop rate more than doubled from 5.3% to 11%. So where does this leave the division? Houston opens as the favorite after a 12-5 season and 9 straight wins. But C.J. Stroud threw 4 interceptions in the divisional loss at New England and has not strung together consistent football in 2 years. Indianapolis started 8-2 before Daniel Jones went down with an Achilles injury and the season collapsed to 8-9. Tennessee hired Robert Saleh, brought in Brian Daboll to develop Cam Ward, and drafted Carnell Tate 4th overall. Jacksonville has the fewest open questions of the 4. The schedule is the real obstacle. Cleveland at home in week 1, then Denver on the road, New England at home, Cincinnati on the road, and back-to-back London games against Philadelphia and Houston. 4 of the first 6 opponents reached the playoffs last season. If Van Lanen returns by September, and the pass rush climbs from 32 sacks toward 40, this is an 11-win team sitting at plus 2,700 to win the Super Bowl. If neither happens, 8-9 is live. My number is 10-7 and a second straight AFC South title. The variable nobody controls is turnover luck, and regression there is the single most likely reason this team wins fewer games while playing better football than it did last year. Tell me where I am wrong down in the comments, drop your win total, and subscribe so the camp reports land in your feed. Veterans reported today, and the first practice is tomorrow. The first honest answer arrives the moment Hunter lines up across from a real starting receiver, and that is exactly where we go next.